Jace wiped the sweat from his brow as he examined the fence before him. It wasn't a fancy fence, just a sturdy line of reinforced metal posts with energy mesh stretched between them, but it served an important purpose. Beyond the fence lay a small energy farm, the kind of installation that powered most of Astera 9's southern colonies. If the fence failed, even for a few hours, scavengers or wild creatures could get in and damage the plant. Jace had spent most of his life fixing things. Cracked walls, broken machinery, or bent fences, it didn't matter. He had a knack for seeing how pieces fit together and making them stronger. Today, it was this fence. He tightened the last post and stepped back to admire his work. The energy mesh hummed faintly, glowing in soft blue light. For most people, it was just a fence. But for Jace, it was proof that a problem, no matter how small, could be solved with patience and care. "Not bad," a calm voice said behind him. Jace jumped, spinning around. Standing there was Governor Alira, the colony leader. She was tall and carried herself with quiet authority. Her long silver coat shimmered faintly in the late afternoon sun. Her eyes, sharp and observant, seemed to miss nothing. Thanks, Governor," Jace said, scratching the back of his neck. She smiled. "Just a little. I've been watching. Jace, you've got a talent for fixing what others ignore. Sometimes, that makes all the difference." Jace felt a rush of pride and embarrassment at the same time. He wasn't used to compliments from anyone, let alone the colony leader. "I was just fixing the fence," he mumbled. Alira chuckled softly. "And yet, it matters more than you think. You've earned a special reward." Jace blinked. "A reward?" "Yes," she said, tilting her head. "Not all rewards are coins or medals. Some are chances, opportunities. Something you might not expect." Before he could ask what she meant, Alira turned and walked away, leaving Jace with more questions than answers. He stared after her, frowning. Rewards weren't really his thing. Fixing the fence was enough satisfaction. Still, there was a strange feeling of anticipation he couldn't shake. Jace went back to inspecting the fence, checking every post, every wire. As he worked, he noticed faint readings on his portable scanner. The energy mesh was stable, but something else was moving in the skies above the colony. Small blips, too fast to be birds or drones. Jace frowned. They moved with purpose, patterns that didn't make sense for normal flight. Curiosity tugged at him. He adjusted the scanner, zooming in. The blips were part of a larger formation. A small fleet of ships. Foreign ships. Jace's heart skipped a beat. Astera 9 wasn't on anyone's trade route, at least none that mattered, and they weren't expecting visitors. He ran toward the colony communications center, a simple building not far from the energy plant. Inside, technicians were already monitoring the sky. "Jace," one called, "we've got unusual readings. Unknown ships entering orbit. They're not responding to hails." Jace took the console and scanned the fleet. "They're not small raiders," he said. "Look at the formation. Organized. They could be scavengers. Or worse." Technicians exchanged worried glances. The colony's defenses weren't strong. They had a few automated turrets and a single patrol ship. But against a fleet? Jace swallowed hard. He had never thought of himself as a hero. But right now, fixing fences wasn't going to stop anything. Governor Alira entered, her presence commanding attention. "Jace, I see you've noticed," she said, her voice calm but firm. "We've suspected a scouting party might arrive, but not this soon. We need everyone prepared. Jace, your skills with engineering, your ability to solve problems quickly, will be crucial." Jace felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. This was no longer about fences. This was about protecting everyone he cared about. "What do you need me to do?" he asked. Alira studied him for a moment. "Help reinforce the outer barriers. Make sure nothing gets through. And be creative. Sometimes the best defenses aren't the ones the manuals suggest." He nodded. I can do that. Jace raced back to the energy plant. He gathered supplies, reinforced panels, energy capacitors, and his toolkit. He called a few of the colony's other engineers, people he trusted, and explained the plan. We need to strengthen the fence and the perimeter defenses. If they come close, we need to make sure they hit more than just metal. The engineers looked skeptical. We can't fight a fleet, one said. No, Jace said firmly. But we can make them rethink attacking us. Make them pay for every step they take. Over the next few hours, Jace and his team worked tirelessly. They modified the energy mesh to discharge controlled bursts if breached. They set up decoys, energy mirrors to confuse sensors, and reinforced the fence with panels salvaged from old cargo containers. Sweat dripped down everyone's faces. Exhaustion gnawed at their limbs. Yet Jace couldn't stop thinking about the special reward Alira had mentioned. Maybe this was it. Maybe this was his chance to do something important, something no one else could. By the time the first stars appeared in the evening sky, the colony was ready. The fleet had drawn closer. Through binoculars, Jace could see sleek, alien ships glinting in the atmosphere. Their designs were nothing like the cargo ships he had worked on. They were fast, sharp, and intimidating. The first probe dropped toward the planet's surface. It moved carefully, scanning, testing. The energy mesh sparked and hissed, sending the probe spinning back into the sky. Jace's heart leapt. The fence had done more than he expected. Alira's voice crackled over the comms. Good work, Jace. That's just the beginning. But it shows the difference one person can make. One person who sees what others ignore. Who acts when others hesitate. Jace felt a strange pride swelling inside him. Fixing a fence had seemed like a small thing. Now, it was part of something much bigger. He wasn't just Jace the mechanic anymore. He was a protector of the colony, a solver of impossible problems. And somewhere deep down, he understood that the special reward wasn't a medal or a title. It was the chance to prove what humanity could do, even against threats that seemed impossible. Hours passed, the alien fleet moving cautiously in orbit. Jace and his team monitored every blip, every spark on the energy mesh. Exhaustion threatened to overtake him. But he kept working. Each adjustment, each minor fix, felt like a small victory. And each small victory gave the colony hope. Finally, the fleet pulled back, retreating into orbit to reassess. No one cheered. There was no time for celebration. But Jace felt a quiet sense of accomplishment. The fence held. The energy plant was safe. The colony had survived the first test. Alira approached him again, her silver coat glinting under the colony lights. Well done, Jace. You've earned that reward. But remember, this is just the beginning. The galaxy is larger than we imagined, and there are more challenges ahead. Jace nodded, determination hardening in his chest. Then we'll face them. We'll fix what needs fixing. We'll protect what matters. Alira smiled, a mix of pride and seriousness in her gaze. I had no doubt you would. That night, as Jace lay in his small quarters, he thought about the fence, the energy plant, and the alien fleet. He realized that every skill he had, every bit of patience, ingenuity, and courage, was part of something greater. Humanity might be underestimated in the galaxy. But here, on Astera 9, Jace had seen what people could do when they refused to give up, and somehow, he knew that fixing a fence today had changed more than the colony's energy plant. It had changed him. Outside, the stars glittered in the vast sky. Somewhere beyond, other eyes watched, curious now. And Jace, the mechanic who had just fixed a fence, was ready to show them what humans could do. The morning sun broke over Astera 9, casting pale orange light across the colony. Jace had hardly slept. His mind was still running over the events of the night. The alien fleet, the fences, and the strange feeling that the special reward Governor Alira had mentioned was only beginning. Every shadow seemed to hold a question, every gust of wind a warning. But there was work to do, and Jace had learned long ago that worry helped nothing. He stepped outside his small quarters and looked over the colony. The energy plant hummed quietly, its blue glow pulsing with the rhythm of life that kept the settlement alive. Engineers moved briskly along the pathways, checking panels, recalibrating sensors, and repairing minor damage. Life continued as usual, but the tension was palpable. Everyone knew the aliens might return, and if they did, the colony had to be ready. Jace gathered a small team of engineers he trusted most. Lyra, a sharp-minded electronics specialist. Cade, a former miner who had a knack for improvisation. And Mara, who could read patterns in data that most people couldn't. They met near the reinforced fence. "Morning," Jace said, trying to keep his tone light. "We've got work to do. Yesterday was a test. Today, we get serious." Lyra raised an eyebrow. "You're up early, Jace. Sleep is optional for you, isn't it?" He chuckled. "Optional, but not recommended." Cade nodded toward the fence. "We need to check every panel, every connection. If they come back, we can't afford a single weak spot." Mara held up a portable scanner. "I've been monitoring orbital traffic. No movement yet, but I'm seeing subtle energy signals. Something's out there, waiting." Jace frowned. "Then we work fast. Let's make sure the fence can handle whatever they throw at it." The team spread out. Jace inspected the energy mesh again, carefully adjusting power flow to the capacitors. The mesh now could deliver a controlled pulse, strong enough to deter small craft but harmless to life. Cade reinforced the posts with extra panels and weight bracings. Lyra checked the automated turrets, improving targeting algorithms, and Mara ran simulations, predicting the aliens' likely moves if they attacked again. Hours passed, each minute stretching longer than the last. The engineers worked silently, punctuated only by the hum of energy lines and the occasional clank of metal. The colony's people went about their morning routines, some curious about the unusual flurry of activity. But no one asked questions. They trusted Jace and his team, they always did. By late morning, the preparations were nearly complete. Jace climbed a small observation tower to scan the horizon. The alien fleet was visible now. Small glints of metal moving slowly through space. They were cautious, circling the planet at a safe distance. It was as if they were observing, learning the layout of the colony and its defenses before deciding on an attack. Governor Alira joined him on the tower. "They're waiting," she said. "Scouts, probes, reconnaissance. They want to know what they're up against. And now, they know a few humans are capable of more than they expected." Jace nodded, tightening his grip on the rail. "I don't know if we can stop them if they really attack." Alira smiled, not cruelly but with quiet confidence. "You will. You and your team have already shown how far ingenuity can go. Humans are underestimated across the galaxy. That's our advantage." Jace stared at the fleet. They were sleek and intimidating, but not invincible. And he knew something Alira didn't say out loud. Humans never gave up. Back on the ground, Mara called out, "They're sending something down." "Small craft. Looks like drones." Jace ran to the energy plant and signaled the team. "Everyone ready. Test the defenses." The first drones touched the surface near the fence. Small, swift, and mechanical. They were designed to probe and map, not fight. The energy mesh pulsed, sending tiny arcs of controlled energy toward the drones. Sparks flew as the drones skidded backward, temporarily disabled. "Nice," Lyra shouted. "They won't get through that easily." But then the drones tried another approach, skirting the reinforced fence, testing for weaknesses. Jace and Cade moved quickly, adjusting panels and tightening capacitors. The drones hit the fence again. But this time, one of them shorted, sparks flying and smoke rising. The team watched carefully. Realizing the drones were learning, they were adapting. "They're not just attacking," Mara said, voice tense. "They're analyzing, trying to figure out how we think." Jace clenched his fists. "Then we need to be unpredictable. Let's change the patterns of the mesh pulses and the turret rotations. Make it harder for them to anticipate." They worked quickly, improvising and adjusting. By mid-afternoon, The drones had retreated, leaving the colony temporarily safe. The team exhaled in relief, but no one celebrated. This was only a small victory. The main fleet could still attack at any time. Alira appeared again, her presence steadying everyone. "You've done well, but don't get complacent. They've seen what we can do. Next time, they might bring something bigger, something more dangerous." Jace looked at her, determination hardening in his chest. "Then we'll be ready. We'll fix whatever comes. That's what we do." As the day turned into evening, Jace and the team continued to reinforce the colony. They upgraded sensor arrays, recalibrated defense turrets, and created decoy systems to confuse enemy targeting. The engineers worked together like a well-oiled machine, each one complementing the other's skills. During a brief break, Cade turned to Jace. "You know, when you first started fixing that fence, I didn't think it would matter much. But now, I can see how important it was. Every little thing counts." Jace smiled faintly. "I've always believed that. Small problems, if ignored, can become disasters. And sometimes, small solutions can save everything." Mara added, "It's more than just fixing things. It's thinking ahead, predicting what others won't. That's what makes humans different." Jace glanced at the horizon, where the alien fleet was still visible. "Then we'll show them how different we can be." Night fell, and the colony settled into cautious vigilance. Patrols moved quietly along the fences, checking sensors and watching the skies. Jace couldn't sleep, but he didn't mind. His mind raced with ideas for new defenses, better energy flows, and ways to stay one step ahead. He remembered Alira's words about the special reward. Maybe it wasn't about recognition or medals. Maybe it was about trust, about being given the responsibility to protect the colony when it mattered most. He felt a sense of purpose growing inside him, something stronger than pride or fear. Suddenly, Mara's voice broke through the quiet. "Incoming signal!" From the fleet. Jace ran to the console. The alien ships were transmitting a message, a sequence of lights and signals he could barely decipher. It was not a simple communication. It was a challenge. A test. The aliens wanted to see how humans responded, if they were worthy opponents. Alira appeared behind him, eyes focused. "Then we respond. Not with weapons first, but with strategy. With intelligence. Let them learn what humans can do." Jace's fingers flew over the controls, decoding the signals as best as he could. He realized something amazing. The aliens weren't just aggressive, they respected cleverness. They were waiting to see if humans could adapt. And Jace smiled. "We can do this," he said quietly, more to himself than anyone else. "We'll show them what humans are capable of." Outside, the stars twinkled across the vast sky. The alien fleet lingered, silent and patient. But somewhere deep inside, Jace knew the tide was turning. The humans of Astera 9 were no longer just survivors, they were engineers, thinkers, defenders. And soon, the galaxy would notice. As he worked through the night with his team, Jace realized that the small fence he had fixed was only the beginning. The real work saving the colony, proving humanity's worth, was just starting. The morning on Astera 9 was tense. The alien fleet hovered silently in orbit, their sleek hulls gleaming against the blue sky. Every eye in the colony watched the skies nervously. Jace and his team had spent the night reinforcing the fence, upgrading turrets, and recalibrating sensors. But despite all their preparations, a gnawing fear remained. The aliens were still learning, still observing, and they would attack in a way no human had seen before. Jace stood on the observation tower, scanning the horizon. Mara's portable scanner beeped insistently. "Something's coming," she shouted. Small ships, more drones, but different, heavier, faster. Cade clenched his fists. "They've brought stronger ones this time. They've learned from yesterday." Lyra adjusted the targeting controls. "Then we adapt faster." Jace took a deep breath. "We need a plan that goes beyond fixing fences. We need to think ahead, predict what they'll do next. They may be more advanced, but we have creativity on our side. The first drones descended, sleek and sharp, faster than any Jace had seen. They approached the fence with caution, scanning the energy mesh, probing for weaknesses. The pulses from the mesh hit them, and sparks flew. But the drones adjusted instantly, changing their angles, trying to find a safe path. Jace's heart pounded. They're learning too quickly. We need something bigger. Something unexpected. He glanced at the energy plant. The conduits running beneath the colony pulsed faintly with power. Jace's mind raced. The energy network beneath the surface could be used, but it was risky. Redirecting it could overload the system or even damage the colony if done wrong. Cade, Jace said, voice tense. I need you to help me set up a redirection system through the conduits. Lyra, Mara, you control the turrets and mesh. Make them think the colony is fully defended, then we hit them with a surprise. Cade nodded, understanding immediately. Let's do it. The team worked quickly, sweat dripping from their brows. Panels were moved, energy flows rerouted, and control nodes placed along the underground conduits. Each adjustment was precise. One wrong move could trigger a catastrophic failure, but Jace's mind was steady. He had fixed fences, broken machines, and energy panels before this was just a bigger challenge. Outside, the drones circled, probing, analyzing, waiting for a weakness. Jace studied their patterns carefully. Each time the drones adjusted, he adapted the energy pulses, creating a dynamic barrier that confused their sensors. Almost ready, Jace said, voice low but firm. Once I activate the conduits, we'll have one chance to hit them with a concentrated energy wave. Timing has to be perfect. Lyra checked the turret sequences. I've synchronized them. They'll fire in patterns that complement the energy redirection. The drones won't know what hit them. Mara monitored the drone positions. They're starting to take coordinated moves. They're grouping. If we wait too long, it'll be harder to control the outcome. Jace glanced at the fleet above. The main alien ships were moving into attack positions. No time to waste, let's do it. He activated the redirection system. The underground conduits pulsed, energy flowing like a river being channeled through a precise path. Sparks danced along the lines, and a low hum filled the air. The turrets fired in perfect coordination with the pulses, creating a wall of energy that danced unpredictably. The drones advanced. Suddenly, the energy conduits released a controlled burst. The pulse shot upward, striking the drones mid-flight. Sparks exploded around them as systems overloaded temporarily, causing confusion and panic. Some drones skidded into each other, while others were forced back into orbit. Jace and his team worked frantically, maintaining the pulses, adjusting flows, and keeping the turrets synchronized. The colony's defenses, once passive, had become a dynamic trap, unpredictable and dangerous to the enemy. Governor Alira appeared at the control console, her eyes wide with admiration. Incredible. They didn't expect humans to think this creatively. You've turned the colony into a fortress using what we already had. Jace didn't answer. He was too focused. Another wave of drones approached. This time faster, heavier, with reinforced hulls. The first pulse hit them, but these drones resisted. Sparks flew, and some managed to breach the outer fence. Hold the line, Jace shouted. Keep them out of the plant. Cade and Lyra adjusted the energy flow, sending a stronger surge through the mesh at the point of breach. Mara fed real-time data to Jace, predicting the drone's next move. With one final pulse, the drones were forced back, tumbling into the air and retreating temporarily. The humans in the colony cheered quietly. Their defenses had held, but Jace knew the main fleet was not finished. They had learned from this engagement. The aliens were studying humans, testing their limits, and preparing something bigger. Alira stepped closer. You've done more than defend the colony, Jace. You've sent a message. Humans are not easy prey. They are clever, adaptable, dangerous. Jace felt a strange mixture of pride and determination. "We've only just begun. If they want to come back, we'll be ready. We'll fix whatever they throw at us." Mara frowned at the scanners. "They're transmitting again. Looks like a signal, but it's more complex. Maybe they're trying to communicate. Or maybe it's another test." Jace studied the pattern. "It's a challenge. They're seeing how we react under pressure. We need to respond carefully, intelligence, not aggression." He activated the colony's communication array, sending back a carefully coded response through lights and energy pulses. The aliens watched, analyzing, recalculating. It was a game of wits now, not just firepower. Hours passed. The alien drones continued testing, but each attempt met with careful resistance and clever countermeasures. The humans were learning, adapting faster than the aliens anticipated, and for the first time, it seemed the aliens were showing signs of hesitation. Jace gathered his team. "This is more than just defense. This is a turning point. If we keep our focus, keep adapting, we can show them that humans are more than they imagine. We're not just survivors, we're thinkers, problem solvers, innovators." Cade nodded. "Then let's prove it. One more round, and we make it clear this colony isn't easy to take." The next wave of drones descended, faster and more coordinated than before. But Jace had anticipated their moves. Turrets fired, energy mesh pulsed, and the underground conduits channeled controlled surges. Sparks flew as drones were thrown off course, some colliding, some retreating in panic. The main fleet watched silently from orbit. For the first time, Jace realized the aliens were impressed, not just cautious, but impressed. Humans, with simple tools and quick thinking, had turned the battle into something unexpected, something the aliens hadn't calculated. Alira's voice came over the comms, calm and proud. "Well done. This is exactly what I hoped you would do. Humans can surprise even the most advanced species in the galaxy. Remember that." Jace allowed himself a small smile. "I won't forget. Neither will they." As the sun set, the drones withdrew for the night. The colony had held, the energy plant was safe, and the humans had proven their ingenuity. Jace and his team collapsed in exhaustion, but they were smiling. They had faced a superior enemy and had adapted, using brains and courage instead of sheer force. Jace looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, the main alien ships were recalculating, planning, and perhaps even respecting the humans they had underestimated. He thought of the special reward Alira had mentioned. Perhaps it wasn't a medal or title, but the trust to lead, the responsibility to protect, and the chance to prove what humans could achieve against impossible odds. Jace knew that this battle had changed him, and perhaps the entire colony. They had faced the unknown, and had not only survived, they had adapted, improvised, and shown that human intelligence was a force to be reckoned with. And deep down, he knew this was only the beginning. Somewhere beyond the stars, eyes watched, taking note of humans' cleverness and resilience. Jace's heart pounded with excitement. The galaxy was larger than anyone had imagined, and humans were ready to make their mark. He turned to his team. "We've done well, but tomorrow will be harder. We keep improving. We keep learning. We show them what humans can do." Cade, Mara, and Lyra nodded, their faces tired but determined. Together, they had defended their home, outsmarted a powerful enemy, and discovered the strength that came from teamwork and ingenuity. Jace glanced at the night sky, stars glittering endlessly. A small smile formed on his lips. Humanity had begun to fight in a way the galaxy would remember, not just with weapons, but with brains, courage, and the stubborn determination to survive and thrive. The next day dawned with a strange quiet over Astera 9. The alien fleet remained in orbit, more deliberate now, their ships forming tight, coordinated patterns that spoke of strategy and patience. Jace and his team had worked through the night, repairing minor damages from the drone's previous attacks and upgrading defenses. But they knew that this calm was only temporary. The fleet was planning a serious strike, something the colony had never faced before. Jace stood on the observation tower, scanning the sky. "They're learning faster than we expected," he said quietly. "But we've learned faster too." Mara adjusted the portable scanner. "Yes. But this next wave, it's bigger. Heavier drones, some with energy shields. They're coming in formations that match the fleet's orbital positions. If they hit all at once, the fence alone won't hold." Cade clenched his fists. "Then, it's time for Plan B." Jace nodded. Plan B was risky. The energy conduits beneath the colony could be used again, but this time, on a much larger scale. If executed correctly, they could send a massive energy pulse into the sky, capable of disabling or disorienting the attacking fleet. If executed incorrectly, well, it could damage the colony itself. "We do this together," Jace said firmly. "Lyra, Mara, Cade, we coordinate every move. Timing, precision, and improvisation. This is our chance to show them what humans are really capable." The team nodded, a silent pact passing between them. They moved quickly, checking the conduits, rerouting energy, and synchronizing the turrets with the pulse system. Every adjustment had to be perfect. Every second counted. Outside, the alien drones began to descend. Faster, heavier, and in larger numbers than ever. The energy mesh pulsed, arcs of blue energy zipping across the surface, striking drones and deflecting attacks. Sparks flew as drones collided, some retreating to regroup. "Now," Jace shouted. He activated the conduits. Energy flowed like a river, streaming through underground channels and gathering at a central node beneath the colony. The hum of power grew louder, resonating through the soil and buildings. Lights flickered as the system charged, and the team held their breath, knowing that one miscalculation could be disastrous. Above, the drones began to scatter, sensing the energy buildup. They moved faster, trying to avoid the central pulse. Jace's heart pounded. "Hold the lines!" he shouted. "Keep them in position!" The pulse erupted. A massive surge of energy shot upward, cascading through the sky like a controlled lightning storm. The drones were caught in the wave, systems overloaded temporarily. Sparks flew from their hulls, some spinning uncontrollably before retreating. Others collided in midair, forcing them to fall back toward the fleet. The human turrets fired in perfect coordination, targeting drones as they struggled. Each pulse from the conduits complemented the turret fire, creating a wall of defense that the drones could not penetrate. The energy mesh flared, arcs jumping unpredictably, further disorienting the attackers. Jace and his team worked frantically, adjusting flows, rerouting power, and monitoring every drone's movement. Mara fed real-time data, predicting their next maneuvers. Lyra adjusted turret sequences, creating patterns that seemed almost alive. Cade reinforced weak points as they appeared, improvising in ways no manual could teach. From orbit, the main fleet watched in stunned silence. They had expected resistance. Clever humans, perhaps. But not this. The humans of Astera 9 had turned their colony into a dynamic fortress, using not brute force but ingenuity, strategy, and adaptability. Governor Alira appeared at the control center, her eyes wide with admiration. "Incredible," she murmured. "They didn't anticipate this. They've underestimated human intelligence and creativity." Jace didn't respond. He was too focused, too immersed in the moment. Every pulse, every spark, every turret adjustment was crucial. The drones faltered, forced back into orbit, while the main ships hesitated, unsure how to proceed. Then, a heavier wave arrived. Larger drones, equipped with shields and reinforced hulls, charged at the colony. The fence alone would not stop them. Jace made a quick decision. "Divert full power to the central node. Increase pulse intensity," he shouted. Cade and Lyra moved faster than ever, rerouting energy and adjusting turrets. Mara calculated timing down to milliseconds. The pulse surged again, brighter, more powerful, and this time, It struck not only the drones but also created a field that interfered with the shields of the heavier units. Sparks and energy arcs danced across the hulls as systems overloaded, forcing even the largest drones to retreat. The main fleet above hesitated. For the first time, the aliens were unsure. They had expected humans to be clever. Yes, but not this clever. Not this fearless. Not this inventive. They had met an enemy who could adapt, improvise, and turn limited resources into a near impenetrable defense. Alira's voice broke through the comms. Humans are proving what I've always believed. Ingenuity, courage, and teamwork are our greatest weapons. Let them see it. Jace smiled briefly, despite the stress. He looked at his team, their faces illuminated by the pulsing energy around them. They were exhausted, but determined. Every minor adjustment, every calculated move, had contributed to this moment. Hold it, Jace shouted. Final wave incoming. A massive group of drones descended, larger and more coordinated than any before. But the humans had learned from every previous engagement. The conduits pulsed in precise timing. Turrets fired with calculated sequences. And the energy mesh reacted dynamically to every attack. The drones faltered, systems overloading one by one, some retreating, others colliding. The colony's defenses were a living, breathing entity, controlled by human minds and hands. Above, the main ships began to retreat, pulling their drones back. The humans had won the engagement without firing a single main weapon at them. The aliens had been forced to recognize the skill, intelligence, and determination of their opponents. Jace lowered his hands from the control panel, breathing heavily. We did it, he said, voice filled with awe and relief. Cade grinned. They won't be underestimating us anymore. Mara nodded, eyes still scanning the sky. And we've proven something bigger than just defense. Humans can think faster, adapt better, and improvise in ways they can't predict. Lyra added. They'll remember this. And so will everyone else who doubts us. Governor Alira stepped beside Jace, her gaze proud. You've done more than protect the colony. You've shown the galaxy what humans are capable of. Ingenuity, courage, and teamwork. These are our true strengths. The reward I spoke of isn't just recognition. It's the chance to demonstrate humanity's value, and you've done that brilliantly. Jace felt a swell of pride, not just for himself, but for his team, the colony, and every human who had faced impossible odds and refused to give up. They had taken simple tools, basic materials, and sheer determination, and turned them into a defense that even a superior enemy could not overcome. Outside, the stars shone quietly. Somewhere out there, alien observers recalculated their assumptions. Humans were no longer just another species in the galaxy. They were clever, resilient, and unpredictable. Jace looked around at his team, each face illuminated by the glow of the conduits and mesh. This is only the beginning, he said softly. Tomorrow, we keep learning. We keep adapting. The galaxy will notice what humans can do. Cade chuckled. We've already made them notice today. Mara smiled. And we've proven it to ourselves too. Humans can do more than anyone expects. The night passed slowly, filled with cautious vigilance. The alien fleet retreated to orbit, watching silently, perhaps respecting the humans more than they had before. The colony had survived its most dangerous challenge yet. Not through firepower alone, but through intelligence, courage, and teamwork. Jace finally allowed himself to rest, sitting quietly on the observation tower. He thought of the fence he had repaired days ago, and how it had led to this moment, a small act that became the starting point for something much bigger. The special reward Governor Alira had mentioned was no longer a mystery. It was trust, responsibility, and the chance to lead, to inspire, and to prove that humans could rise to any challenge, no matter how impossible it seemed. And somewhere, deep in the dark expanse of space, the galaxy was taking note. Humanity was not to be underestimated. The morning sun rose over Astera 9, painting the colony in warm shades of gold and orange. The air was crisp, carrying a quiet sense of victory. The alien fleet had retreated to the distant edges of orbit, observing silently, perhaps reconsidering their assumptions about humans. For the first time in the colony's history, there was a sense of pride and accomplishment that went beyond mere survival. Jace stepped out onto the observation tower, surveying the colony below. People moved about with a purpose, repairing minor damages and checking defenses. There was still work to be done. Of course, the aftermath of the attacks required maintenance and planning. But the fear that had gripped the colony for days had lifted. Humans had survived, adapted, and shown what they were capable of. Governor Alira approached, her calm presence bringing a sense of reassurance. "They've pulled back for now," she said, her silver coat gleaming in the sunlight. "But they'll remember what they've seen. Humans are clever, resourceful, and fearless when protecting their home." "I 100 people today on Azan." Jace nodded. "We didn't just survive, Governor. We made them respect us. We made them think twice." Alira smiled faintly. "Yes, and that respect is earned, not given. The galaxy won't forget Astera 9 or its people anytime soon. And that, Jace, is the true reward." He thought back to the day he had been fixing the simple fence near the energy plant. Back then, it had seemed like a small, unimportant task. Now, he realized it had been the first step toward a much bigger journey, one that had tested his ingenuity, courage, and leadership. It had proven that humans, even with limited resources, could outthink a superior enemy. The day was filled with activity. Engineers moved through the colony, checking every structure, every conduit, and every defensive measure. Children watched with curiosity, inspired by the courage of the humans who had protected them. Farmers and workers repaired minor damages, carrying on with their routines but with a newfound sense of pride. Jace and his team continued to oversee repairs, working alongside everyone else. Mara recalibrated the scanners, making them more sensitive to unusual energy patterns. Lyra improved turret algorithms to predict incoming threats more accurately. Cade reinforced structural weak points, ensuring that the colony could withstand future challenges. And Jace coordinated it all, ensuring that the lessons learned from the alien encounters were applied everywhere. As the sun climbed higher, people began to gather in the central plaza. There was a quiet excitement in the air. The colony's citizens knew something important had happened. They had survived an unprecedented attack, and they had done so because of human ingenuity and determination. Governor Alira stepped onto a raised platform, addressing the assembled crowd. "People of Astera 9, she began, her voice calm but commanding. "You have faced danger and uncertainty, and you have shown the galaxy what humans are capable of. Your courage, your creativity, and your teamwork have defended this colony against a threat that others would have fled from." The crowd erupted in applause, but Alira raised a hand to quiet them. "This is more than a victory for our colony. It is a message to anyone who underestimates humans. We are resilient, adaptable, and resourceful, and we will continue to grow, innovate, and protect what we hold dear." Jace watched the crowd, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. He thought of his team, of the countless hours of work and improvisation, and of the moments when fear had almost taken over but hadn't. Together, they had accomplished something extraordinary. Alira's eyes found Jace in the crowd. "And to those who led the defense," she said, her voice carrying clearly, "I want to recognize their contributions. Jace, your quick thinking and leadership have saved this colony. Your ingenuity has proven that humans can rise to any challenge. You have earned the highest respect of your people and mine." Jace felt a rush of humility and pride. He stepped forward, joining Alira on the platform. "I didn't do it alone," he said, looking at Mara, Lyra, and Cade. "This was a team effort. Every person in the colony played a part. Engineers, workers, patrols, everyone. We all made this happen together." The crowd cheered again, this time louder, recognizing the collective effort. The sense of community, of shared purpose, was stronger than ever. Alira smiled. "Indeed. Humans achieve greatness when they work together, when they think creatively, and when they refuse to give up. You've all proven that today. And now, Astera 9 will stand as an example of what humanity can accomplish, even in the far reaches of the galaxy. Later, Jace walked through the colony, taking in the repaired energy plant, the reinforced fences, and the bustling streets. Children waved at him as he passed, some asking questions about the drones, the fleet, and the energy pulses. He stopped to answer, explaining in simple terms how teamwork and clever thinking had protected everyone. Mara joined him, carrying a tablet with new schematics. "They'll be back someday," she said quietly. "The fleet won't forget what happened, but next time, we'll be even stronger." Jace nodded. "We've learned so much. We've improved every system, strengthened every defense, and proven that humans are capable of more than they imagined. Next time, we won't just survive. We'll be ready." Cade walked over, a grin on his face. "You know, I never thought fixing a fence would lead to all this. Who knew a simple job could be the start of something so big?" Jace chuckled. "It's never just the small job. Every action matters. Every problem solved is a step towards something greater." Lyra joined them, looking up at the distant stars. "And the galaxy is watching now. Astera 9 has shown that humans are clever, adaptable, and unstoppable when we work together. They won't forget." Jace looked at the horizon, the alien fleet far away but still a reminder of the vastness of space. "Then, we'll keep learning, keep improving, and keep proving that humans can face any challenge. We've started something here. Something bigger than just survival." The day continued, filled with repairs, planning, and preparation for future challenges. The colony was safe, but Jace knew the galaxy was vast, full of unknown threats and opportunities. Humans would continue to explore, to defend, and to innovate. They had faced one enemy and had shown what ingenuity, courage, and determination could accomplish. By evening, the colony gathered for a quiet celebration. Fires lit the plaza, laughter filled the air, and stories of the defense spread through the crowd. Children ran through the streets, pretending to be engineers or strategists, inspired by the bravery of those who had protected them. Adults shared tales of teamwork and clever solutions, proud of their role in the colony's survival. Jace stood at the edge of the plaza, looking up at the stars. The alien fleet had retreated, but he knew this was only one chapter in humanity's story. The galaxy was vast, and humans would continue to leave their mark, not through sheer strength alone, but through intelligence, creativity, and the determination to protect what mattered. Governor Alira approached, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You've done well, Jace. You've earned the trust of the colony, and you've proven what humans can accomplish. The galaxy will take notice." Jace smiled, feeling a sense of fulfillment he had never known. "We've all done well. This is just the beginning. Humanity has a long path ahead, and we're ready for it." Alira nodded. "Yes, and the next generations will look back on today as the moment humans proved themselves. Astera 9 will become a symbol of ingenuity, courage, and resilience." As night fell over the colony, the stars above Astera 9 glittered like distant diamonds. The alien fleet lingered far away, silent witnesses to the humans' cleverness and determination. For the first time, the galaxy had taken notice not just of survival, but of human innovation, teamwork, and courage. Jace returned to his quarters, tired but content. He thought of the fence, the drones, the conduits, and every small decision that had led to this moment. Every choice, every solution, every act of creativity had combined to protect the colony and demonstrate humanity's potential. He lay down, looking out the small window at the stars. The special reward Governor Alira had mentioned no longer mattered as a title or recognition. It was the trust, the responsibility, and the opportunity to prove what humans could do, and he had done that magnificently. Somewhere in the galaxy, others had noticed. Humans were clever, adaptable, and unstoppable when they worked together. And Astera 9 was just the beginning. Jace closed his eyes, a quiet smile on his face. Humanity had proven itself. They had faced the unknown, survived, adapted, and inspired. The future was vast and uncertain, but they were ready, and the galaxy would remember. For the first time, Jace truly understood. It wasn't just about surviving. It was about showing the universe the strength, courage, and ingenuity that humans carried in their hearts. And that was only the beginning.